Welcome back, everybody, to the Steve and Bobby Show. This is segment 2. I'm going to say it's segment 2 because we actually had another one about senatorial races. Make sure you guys tune into that one. But we want to talk about the debate.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute.
Which debate?
Hold on. Huh?
What debate?
I got to introduce you first.
Oh.
That's
Hey.
Bobby Bleed, too.
Hey, what's going on?
fellow host on the Steve and Bobby Show. Welcome to the Steve and Bobby Show.
We're just having some fun here. It's just great.
Anyway, let's talk about the debate. I thought we're talking about the VP debate with Kamala Harris as well as Mike Pence. So, first of all, let me get, what is your first impression of the debate, and what do you think? And then I'll give you my opinion.
Right. So, because we had the presidential debate already.
Last week.
And the presidential debate was just like fire, terrible.
Yeah.
Nothing really got done, but it was a lot of anger, a lot
Wasn't
of
Biden's
fighting.
fault, by the way.
Right. But it was a lot of fighting. It was, but for like TV and all that stuff, it was very, very exciting, right?
Yeah.
I was watching a TV show, ups and downs, people yelling. Didn't really get much out of it except, what you already knew, right?
Yeah.
This one was much, much different. This one had substance.
Yeah.
These folks really tried to answer. They were very political, kind of took things back to the way they were.
It used to be.
And so
I forgot that's the way debates.
And so it was boring because of the comparison, right?
Yeah.
So that's what in theatrical value, it was boring, right? A lot of good information to come out. Still, people will lie, people will do, back to kind of what we've seen before.
The old politics.
And as it started, as it went, it was like a sad story to me. It was I was listening, everything was like, the way they spoke, the way Pence spoke. It was like, it's just so sad. Yeah. And there's these families here. And so we need our democracy. We need our freedom in America.
Oh, the key words.
Yeah.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Our military.
Right.
Police.
Grow it.
Family value.
You're disrespecting everybody, Kamala. And our Americans are
liberal.
Great. And it was just
socialism.
Okay. He had his points. She had her points. He spoke his like he was reading something.
Yeah.
So when he went slow, he ran out of time.
Yes.
He still had to finish his paragraph.
Yes.
Like, wait, the punches at the end. Hold on, It was almost as he had a teleprompter in his head. And Kamala, she had her points, but she spoke with her heart.
Yeah.
There's a difference, right?
Yeah. On issues, you could... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's... Go.
You had a really good point. The way I looked at it was Mike Pence was... They were both coached. No doubt. Okay, you can tell they were both. This is old school coach. This is for all y'all that are too young, don't remember, because we're talking about what 2009, since something actually of any substance of any debate you could probably remember. Actually, no, 2012 would have been good because when President Obama went again, right? Wasn't it 2012? 12, right? Yeah. So, but you can tell that Pence was coached, but he wasn't coached within the time limit. Do you understand?
Right.
Because he was trying to make these points, and he couldn't do it within a 2-minute time frame because he kept trying. You could tell he had this thing in his mind. He was just like a robot. But you could tell that Kamala Harris she was well in within those time. Sometimes she was a little bit early. Sometimes she was just a slight off, maybe 5 or 6 seconds off. But that was it. So she didn't sound like she was interrupting or anything. That's the way I took it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's like if you guys watch, if you didn't see the debate, it's like watching a presentation. There's people who do PowerPoints.
Yep.
And there are people who, when they do PowerPoints, they read the PowerPoint. I hate that. It's right there.
I've had teachers.
But they read the whole PowerPoint. That was Pence. Kamala Harris, she had the PowerPoint up there, and she spoke about the points, but didn't read what was up there.
Yeah.
And I think she looked at her time. She did her debate.
Yeah.
I was really upset though that. She could have been stronger by, having a little bit more force. And that really started to come out at the end. I wish she was there in the beginning. Because by the end, she's like, look, give me my time, man. He's had his time. And I'm going to talk, and I'm going to say my things. And she's like, don't lecture me on this. She stood her ground towards the end. But she gave him that well-respect in the very beginning. But Pence was just running all over the place on the moderator.
Looked like he was running over a female, too. It didn't look good.
He just kept talking and like, no, wait, I got to get this point out. Wait, I got to get this point out. Wait, I got to get this point out. And he just, 2 minutes turned into 4 minutes or something. I didn't time it, but it felt like double the time. And it wasn't even the question that was being asked when he did it. It
was always a question behind.
Yeah, it was the last question.
Every one of you guys looked at you guys looked at the VP
for the first
debate,
hour. After that, he started.
He was chasing though. He was chasing these questions, and I think it was because he wasn't able to complete his answer from the last time. So he was trying to. Let me go back to the. But real quick, I want to talk about something really quick on this. But if you notice that. You always know what a politician, what they're passionate about, right? And there were actually 3 or 4 times that Kamala Harris was very passionate about certain things. And there was one time that actually had me go back and look up Kamala Harris. This is you on, like, you in my ear. Mm-hmm. That's what it was, because she brought up a point, because you always do this. You always tell me to do this, right? Kamala Harris was talking when we got on the AG subject. Now, if anybody follows me, I had a very big problem with Kamala Harris and her AG background right here in the state of California. And I went and looked at, during the time that she said, there was a question that she was asked about, about police, law and order, all this crap that Donald Trump is trying to push, right? And then Kamala Harris said, please don't talk about law and order. I'm an attorney general for California. And she was so right on that. But there were some things that she brought up that were actually really interesting. She brought up the fact that how she went after corporations, how she was going after about how they were, I guess they were being sued for renewable energy and just all these things, right? And I was like, what? So I had to go back, because this is you in my ear. Well, yeah, she's saying that, but is that true? Because it actually threw me off a little bit, because my viewpoint of Kamala Harris was, but I was specifically looking at it, was how many brown people and how many black folks was she putting in jail? Because that's what I was looking for specifically, right? And she didn't have a great record on that, but just like any attorney.
That's what Pence pointed out.
Right, and Pence pointed that out. I already knew about that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about the other part. And I didn't realize that about 70% of almost everything that she was going after was corporations. So maybe I did not know that. I actually did not know that. I had committed myself to her, like, she put too many black and brown people in jail. I didn't like that. So, and I had a problem with that. But, as a Democrat, I'm not going to like any AG in that sense, no matter who the AG is. But that's their job. But she brought that up, and I thought it was really good that she brought that. She was passionate about that. So I went in live time while I was watching the debate. I went in because I forgot the website I went about.
But that's when she started picking up.
She started picking up.
That's when she started saying, "Don't lecture me. My life has been here in law and order. I've put more people away than anyone here on this stage. I have sat there. I have the only one on this stage that has attacked these corporations, and done all these things." And then she went to say that she was the one, that first state, to adopt body cameras.
Yeah, right? That was the other one.
The body cams.
Yeah.
And to push that forward. And so the movements that we are, because look, without those body cams.
Yep.
Without,
there'll be a lot of cops here getting away with some mess.
Like, people, they got to make a law that you can't cover it on purpose, because I saw one the other day where the cop kept covering it on purpose.
I don't know how that's legal.
Well, it is. I mean, you have to turn it into a law. It's not legal. I mean, it's legal because there's no law against it, right? So that's when you start to change the law, right? That's when you start to advocate for some, for some changes to the law, so that way we can make it more fair and things more presentable, right? And that's what she was saying, is that, look, changes happen since I've been in. Yeah. Right? And the things that she's doing. And now we have a plan. Yeah. Not, what Trump or Pence or some other folks say, that, we need more, social justice, or, we've done more to, we have criminal, reform acts that have gone through. We've released folks from jail. Actual things. We are going to make chokeholds illegal. That was the other thing. We are going to do this. We are going to do this. Yeah. Real tangible things to achieve that should, and I believe will, make changes on how arrests will happen, how people will be judged, and when we take precautions that way, and learn these things, I think there'll be less implicit bias in the police force, right? So when we talk about training, we talk about those things. It's that bias that kind of overrides that training. That was a good one too. The bias thing was very, very good. And the fact that she was passionate about the AG thing, which was good. She was passionate about women issues. That was very good. The complicit bias that you're talking about was very good. Where Pence had nothing to say on that. Pence tried to go after her AG record because she knows how a lot of these progressives and Democrats feel about that. But it made, for the policy hawks like me, all I did was I went in
just looked at it and, oh, wow, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. And I looked at percentages of how she was going to, just her percentages of what she was fighting, why she was AG in California. So, I mean, that's good. Now, look, just because I had a disagreement with Biden, because I'm not a big Biden guy, and just because I have a disagreement with Harris, because I'm not a big Harris guy, Harris person, doesn't mean I ain't voting for him. Okay, because Trump and Pence are horrific. Definitely Trump is horrific. Okay, so don't think that just because I hold my politicians accountable, and I'm going to hold them accountable, if they win, I'm going to hold them accountable as well. Hey, you said this, you said this, you said this, so let's come on, we're going to lean on you like that. Same thing we did on Obama on gay rights. Same exact thing. Because remember, when Obama was running, he wasn't so pro-gay right. He wasn't, how can I say it? I guess he had, when he was president, the Melania had a talk with him. Not Melania.
Uh-oh.
No, I did not say that. I did not just say that. Not Melania. His daughter. What is her daughter's name? Sasha.
I don't know.
I can't think of one of the older daughter. Not Sasha. Sasha's the younger one. But had a conversation with her dad, and they said they talked for about 4 hours and changed her mind completely. Her and her mom, completely, about that issue, and he just went hams on it, right? And then that's because not only did that happen, but a lot of the LGBTQ leaned on Obama and said, hey, look, you're coming on change. It's time to lean on you. So Obama wasn't perfect, just like nobody else. No politician is perfect. Lean on him, bring him in, wheel him in.
Yeah, and that's what I don't think. That's where I think she failed. She didn't lean on him enough.
Yeah,
she didn't call
on
him
Pence.
On Pence. She didn't call him out because every Republican, every conservative thing is always talking about right now, today, headlines.
Do you think she was coached to do that though?
I'd have to think.
I've seen Kamala in every single her debate.
So. Right.
Every debate.
Right.
Every debate she'd be leaning on folks.
Last night.
Yeah, it was almost like she was
really different.
Keep it cool.
She had her points, she had her facts, but she did not.
Towards the end, she got a little bit like
call them up on it. Yeah,
she was like,
because it. So I mean, maybe they're holding it off to the third one, but people are voting now.
Yeah.
People, I don't know if you turned your ballot in. I got mine.
No, actually, I didn't. Yet. I didn't. I just got mine yesterday. No, day before. Not yesterday, day before. Tuesday? Yeah, I just got mine. So it just came in the mail.
I mean, I'll still be showing up to the polls. I like going in and voting, but
I do too.
And so the thing is that when people are voting now, you need to be strong now. Yeah. You need to get out there and show those things and figure out what those things that will keep people from the teetering people from going over to them.
Yeah.
That abortion question about SCOTUS pick.
Yeah.
They kind of both didn't answer it. And he turned into about propositions that some Democrats or some folks are making about adding more justices to the
Packing the court was another one that she did not answer.
Well, there wasn't the moderator asking that question. It was a question that was.
Good point.
It was a spinoff.
Yeah.
It was about abortion.
Yeah.
Right, and he didn't figure that out till the next question.
Yeah.
Because he didn't answer it there, and he came back and answered it in the next one, saying that he's pro-life.
Yeah.
But not what he wants his state to do.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the real question here: is that look, if Pence could have his way, he wants to take away the woman's choice to have an abortion, even if she's raped.
Yeah.
Right. If it's rape, molestation, they don't care. You have the baby. You're not going to have a choice to do anything else.
Pence said all the way up to term. I mean, that was just a bold-faced. Nobody is going to abort an 8-month, just ridiculous stuff that the Republicans do. And let me tell you, that stuff works. There's a lot of people that actually believe that.
So, but going the other way, there's a lot of people who believe that, there are a lot of people who are pro-life, but feel that, in cases of rape and molestation, those are exceptions, right?
Yeah.
Somehow those are okay. In their mind. And there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
And if they would say, look, they want to take that away from you too.
Yeah.
They don't care if you're raped. They want that to happen.
Now, and the big thing that they were talking about too, and this, we always talk about this, and I always like to say that, we always talk about this because I think it's always important, it's about the judge thing. So Pence brought up this thing, we just talked about it right now, about packing the courts. Now, listen, if you don't know what packing the court means, what he's talking, it's not packing the court with just a bunch of Republicans. That's not what he's talking about.
Because they're already doing that.
Yeah, they're already doing that. So I know there's a lot of people thinking like, well, if that's what they're doing, but actually what he means by packing the court is packing the Supreme Court. And what he means is changing the number of SCOTUSes from 9 to 12, 13, or whatever. That's what he means. So they're constantly saying you want to pack the court. Now, see, here's the thing about this packing the court is the way they're presenting it. They're not defining it. So when you're saying packing the courts, any politician, in fact, I saw a congressional leader, I think it was out of here in California, was saying, ain't that what Republicans doing now? They're packing the courts now?
Right.
So he really can just kind of avoid that question by just saying, hey, you mean by packing the courts, packing all these lower level court, these what Trump is doing right now, which is basically sounds like packing the court. But what they're talking about really is increasing the amount of SCOTUSes.
And also putting in term limits of
Term
18
limits
years.
as well.
Right.
Yeah, and I think 18 years is the big thing. So when you hear that term packing the courts, what they're really trying to say is that they want to increase the Supreme. And let me tell you something. I was just listening to a show before I got here, a very reliable show that is pretty good. Is they've done this 7 times prior to this, so it's not anything new. They haven't done it recently, like within the last 40 or 50 years, but it's not new. They have increased the amount of, and this is another thing I did not know. I did not realize that it's the only one that has that authority within the Constitution is Congress. So if Biden were to get elected, he could, and it's a simple majority, he could just tell Nancy Pelosi, we're going to increase the court, and they can increase. And this is what Republicans are terrified of, because they know what they are doing on this SCOTUS pick, what they did on the Garland pick, what they did on the Kavanaugh bench was wrong. They knew it was wrong. They know it. The only way to, I was very upset about this, and I've had tons of issues even on this show talking about how upset I am about losing that pick, and we're set for a bunch of horrific losses.
Right. He didn't choose old people.
Yeah, yeah. He chose young. I mean,
Right.
Kavanaugh.
Remember, these are forever positions.
Kavanaugh's not
forever.
even 50.
Yeah,
He's
these
like
are forever
40-some years,
positions,
40.
yeah.
I think he's younger than me, or he's the same age as me.
Yeah.
They're right about the same age, because I saw when the argument of the high school thing was like, I'm like, damn, I was in high school.
So they're forever. So what got to
Yeah.
me in that one, the whole thing, because this has been proposed over and over, and they've
Yeah.
been talking about this over and over and over again. But what really got to me was when he said, "This is the classic move of change the rules when you can't win."
Oh my God.
And at that moment, I was like, "Wow, that's kind of the whole civil rights movement. That's kind of
The gerrymandering of
everything
districts?
that we're trying to do."
The-
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, sometimes we can't win because you guys are stacking the odds, and the system is there. That's kind of the whole definition
Yep.
of systemic racism, systemic oppression. It's in the system because the rules don't allow it to happen, right?
Agreed.
And so we're trying to change it, and to call it that way, and the way that he did it, to say it that way, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, wow, you've never were put in a position where the odds were stacked against you because of the rules, not because of your inability to do something, but because of the rules creating the inability for you to do something.
Yeah, and if you take, I mean, if you take a look at them talking about changing the rules, let's go back Gore Bush in 2000. Let's go back most recently in Atlanta with Stacey Abrams, and what's the I can't even think of that guy's name, the darn governor now, but that guy was head of voting, and he purged over 300 and some odd thousand votes in predominantly black neighborhoods because he knew, and he lost, or I mean he won by I think
barely won.
Barely won 2.5%.
Right.
This is the kind of stuff that Republicans do. But see, this is why it's so important, because Stacey Abrams could go to court. She could fight that. And with the right judicial appointments there, they could say, hey, that's wrong what you're doing. Because we keep going back to the judge. It's the same thing, because politics always goes back to judges, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are going to decide. Because these politicians, they can fight all day, but they're going to get lawyers, they're going to lawyer up, they're going to go to court, and then a judge is going to have to decide.
Right. The judge is going to interpret the law.
Yeah, he's going to interpret the law.
The judge interprets the law and lays the judgments on what's happening. And that's why the judges are very important.
Yep.
Look, I have seen people write laws. Laws get passed, and a judge will interpret it differently than the person who authored it. The person who authored it, I seen say, "That's not what I meant, Judge." And the judge said, that's not what you wrote. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's why it's important to get judges who can who really can see and work from a side that's not biased. And so you want to pick folks. They can be Republican or Democrat.
I agree.
But it's how vocal they've been
Yeah.
against or for something. And
Yeah.
and in this day and age, when you have someone who's, we have justices who completely say that abortion is wrong and that they want to overturn Roe v. Wade, well, then you select them. You know what's going to happen. When you look at them and say they hate the ACA, you know what's going to happen. And when you see what's happening now, where they're trying to now go back and find a way to make it illegal for same-sex marriages, that is terrible.
And Trump has been doing all these things, by the way. This is why I never understand these what is these log cabin Republicans? The
log cabin Republicans?
Log cabin. I don't understand, because Trump has made it quite evident with not what he says. He goes out and says one thing, and you need to go look at what he's doing in the background. Okay? The evangelicals of the South, evangelicals of Middle America, believe me, they don't like LGBTQ. Just doesn't work in their circles as a whole.
They didn't even ask about LGBTQ community.
No, they didn't.
Night. Well, so maybe
They
that'll be
sure
saved over
didn't.
for the next one, because Pence is going to be hit hard on that one. I
Yeah.
don't think he.
Well, there's no
wants to
more
answer that.
VP debates. There's only one.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay, so then he got lucky.
Yeah.
Because he's for conversion therapy.
Yeah.
He's for that stuff. If you guys don't know what conversion therapy is, basically
Shock therapy.
conversion therapy. Yeah. Well, anyway it is, but conversion therapy is basically what happens is some parents would, their kid says they're gay, and the parent sends them off to get converted to being straight. Somehow, some way, they do whatever they have to do to turn their kid straight. And you can't really do that, and that is wrong. And in California, we made that illegal now. But Pence.
You mean
Mike Pence
conversion therapy is legal in some states?
So Mike Pence is a believer in that. And Medi-Cal, I think Medi-Cal used to cover conversion therapy.
Medi-Cal used to cover.
The state used to, federal funds went to conversion therapy. So, no, it's terrible. It is terrible, but people believe in it, right? They call it's a mental health condition, and that's how they're treating it. So he would get hit hard on it, and
So you just can't like or love nobody you want. It's a sickness.
Right. Well, no. Okay, that's what they're saying. I don't say that, but I'm sorry, that may come off wrong.
That's what they're saying.
What they're saying.
Yeah.
And so, the debate last night, I felt that she started answering the questions for the first, say, 2/3 of it. He wasn't answering the questions until later, kind of, or doing his own thing.
She got tired of
Then at the end, they both didn't answer questions. I mean, it finished off with you thinking that, you know what, we didn't get anything from them at all. But if you pay attention, they got it. And so if you go back to the rules of the debate, where they only have 2 minutes, she definitely won. Because I want you to go, I know you probably won't, but just in your mind, if you saw it already, if you hit the mute button at 2 minutes or at 1 minute, whatever it was, Pence said nothing.
Yeah, the
Nothing.
first, yeah.
Yeah, he said nothing.
Yeah.
You just mute it.
Yeah.
And she would win. But then when you break the rules,
He's
then
really
maybe he
good
won.
at word salad. Especially on questions that he's not comfortable with, because they talked about a number of things that I know Pence did not, because they went on the Roe versus Wade. To be fair, Kamala Harris didn't answer that question as well.
They both didn't.
But they didn't. But if Kamala Harris went all, she was talking about women's rights. She was talking about, and I understand her point there, but she could have just said, hey, I support a woman's right to choose. She could have just said that. But maybe Biden, they're obviously going after that middle America, that moderate vote, obviously.
They're campaigning.
They're campaigning right now.
They're campaigning. They're campaigning in the debate. And
Obviously.
He totally,
Obviously.
Yeah, he was avoiding a lot of stuff where there was nothing to defend. And he would just avoid it.
He kept saying, "I'll answer it,
Right.
but let me
do this thing,
let me
and
do
I'll
this
come
real
back."
quick."
Right?
Man,
It's like, yeah, sure, I will do what you say. How do you want me to say it, like Trump? We could be white supremacist. And so, she could have hit him hard on that one too.
Yeah.
Because when he said Trump has said it so many times, and she should have just said, but he did not on national stage recently.
Yeah.
He could not say the words. He even had to even ask for the words.
Yeah.
He didn't even know
It
how to
wasn't even in his
phrase it
vocabulary.
right.
What is it that you want me to say?
Because they've been telling me to say it all the time.
What is it that you want me to say? What?
Right.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, because I don't
He
know how to
didn't
say
even know how to do it.
Yeah,
That's-
and then he didn't do it.
That is a pure definition of a narcissist.
Right. Well, yeah, and
It really is.
But
Well, what I mean is, even Trump has no problem lying. He has no problem lying.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually, like a normal person like me and you, if somebody said, man, you could say that you like LGBTQ. I do. I like LGBTQ. I'm not saying I don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you would say, right? Or whatever. Or I don't agree. Whatever. He couldn't figure out even to say the most basic, fundamental thing of, I don't agree with the Proud Boys.
Yep.
He was like, what do you want me to say? What, he was honestly baffled.
Tell me how to lie.
How to lie. What is it that you coach me? I don't know.
But she could have hit him hard on that. Just like, look, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He had the chance to.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
Yeah.
She said it. It got drowned out.
Yeah.
And to some folks, like, yeah, see, Pence addressed it.
It was too late. Yeah.
So she could have did that little interruption.
She should have started out with that because that is our platform.
And the lies on climate change.
Oh. Yeah.
All the stuff that they've done and bring back the jobs. And you know what? We reduced carbon emissions, called CO2, by fracking. Right?
There's
fracking
no way he
less
believes
than
that.
coal. No, well, fracking does 60% less carbon. I think it's about 60% less.
But that has nothing to do with
less carbon CO2, carbon dioxide than coal. So from coal to this one, you will have less. But the thing is, through their, they didn't do. When you do fracking, you're not using less than what our current energy structure is. 95% of our stuff is done through fossil fuels.
Yeah.
Right? So the fracking that they've done and they pushed forward and they increased coal, it didn't produce any less CO2. They lie like that.
And I'm going to tell y'all about this fossil fuel thing here in the United States. I am telling you, we are really globally, we're really behind the curve here. For a first world nation that we're supposed to be, you're talking about the Chinese right now are building all their buildings solar panels. Even their skyscrapers, the side panels of their skyscrapers are all solar panels. All their new homes, housing is required by law. Not only there, in Europe, my daughter went to Europe last year. That was last year. She went to Europe and she said she has saw so many renewable vehicles there. Almost all their vehicles there were renewable. She said it was probably 60% of the vehicles. She said it was definitely 1-to-1. There was definitely, you know what I mean? Whether it was Honda making it, whether it was Toyota, whoever was making it, German cars, they were all renewable energy. Here in the United States, we do not get a grip on this stuff, and we're still on these fossil fuel junk. I'm telling you, man, we're falling behind on the curve on that, especially in the technology, because right now, globally, fossil or renewable energy technology is the fastest growing industry in the world right now, more than anything. I'm talking solar, whatever it is, solar panels, new car industry. You got Lucid Air that just came out last month. It was like it surpassed Tesla in pre-orders, and this is an all renewable vehicle. I'm telling you, we need to catch up on this. We're getting real behind.
And it creates jobs. It does a lot of different things. It doesn't do what they say, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're just pay attention, look at it yourself, and I know most of you that made it this far in the video are with us on these things. It's all about how do we convince other people.
Yeah.
Because we get hit with arguments, and it's like, okay, you know what, just walk away. That's what it feels like. But sometimes you got to think, we're missing something to make people realize something, right? And it blows my mind how many people are Trump supporters. I don't, they can be Republicans or whatever it is, but they are Trump supporters based on his actions and what he's done. But they are recipients of everything, socialized medicine. They're recipients of that, right? They're on Medicare.
Very good.
They're on Medicare. They're on dialysis funded by Medicare, right? Social, like everyone. If once you're in renal stage 5 failure, you get dialysis for free. Doesn't matter who, how much money you make, right? It's all equal. It's socialized by the definition of socialism. And how can you be a dialysis patient, but for Trump? They're against you. They want to pull that plug on you.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these, especially, that's actually a really good point. Donald Trump kept promoting the fact, Donald Trump, of course, recently been diagnosed with COVID, and he kept talking about how great his care was and how wonderful his care was. And, well, yeah, your care is great.
Yeah.
You're in Walter Reed Medical Center, which is a damn socialist program because that's a veteran hospital. That hospital is the largest socialized hospital system in the nation. It's part of the VA system. And that's Walter Reed. The doctors that he had that he says are great or wonderful, they're paid by taxpayer money. There's no private funding at Walter Reed, none. There is not a single dime that comes from private funding. Same thing with the VA here, same thing with the local clinic VA, wherever you're at. All of that is socialized because our taxpayer money pays for that.
Yep. And so the question is, like, as they did those, in the debate, did she ever talk about President Trump and Melania getting COVID?
They briefly talked.
That was the question.
Yeah, it was a question.
But she didn't hit on that.
Yeah. And this is one of those things where I just think she was pulled back on because this is a layup for her.
Yeah.
That was a layup.
Yeah.
And she pulled back on that. And I think I think they're going after the ones that are on that fence, the ones that kind of like Trump. That's the only thing. What else can it be?
I mean, the other thing is you don't want to show up the president or your candidate running for president too. That might be it too. That she can't show up Biden, I guess.
You think?
I don't know. I'm coming up with something. I'm trying to come up with something, but she pulled back. I was hoping for a smack, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I was hoping for all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, of course, the only one who gave the biggest smack last night was who? Who gave the biggest smack? It was the fly. You can't talk about the debate without talking about that dang fly.
Oh, I have an entire post dedicated to that.
Like 100,000 followers now, probably.
I am.
Like 2 hours afterwards, it had like 83,000. So I'm guessing it was over 100,000 followers.
On Twitter, it has a thing called "I am the fly."
Oh, really?
That's the Twitter account.
Well, no, there's one called Mike Pence's fly. 83,000 followers, like an hour and a half after the debate.
The memes on this, they're flawless.
Yeah.
The internet wins again.
Oh, Joe Biden sold out on his fly swatters. Truth over flies. No, they did. They made fly swatters for $5.
I got one last night.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
But I got it, like I went right online because I saw somebody do it during the debate. And I just, the $5 one? I clicked it and got it. I wonder if I got it.
It sold out. Well, no, if you were able to pay for it, you probably got it.
Yeah, I did. I put the $5.
When it sold out, you couldn't buy it no more.
Oh, I think I got one of fly swatter.
You need one right now.
Oh, the special guest.
Oh, special guest.
But I mean, it did steal the show. That's all, you know. That goes to show how it goes.
Hold on, let me get it. Let me get it.
Oh, his white hair. It just stuck out.
Oh, fly lives matter, man. Fly lives matter.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess that's it, man. What do you got? Anything else on it? I knew we were going to talk about
this. If you guys can, let us know what you thought about the debate. It's all over the place. If you thought it was productive, if you thought it was better than the presidential debate, let us know what you think it's going to happen in the next debate, if it's even going to happen. Till then, guys, thank you for watching the Steve and Bobby Show. Check out Mad Production TV, and we'll catch you guys on the other side.